And now for the Honorable Member, Dr. Jennifer Westford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to lend my support to this 2025 budget. Mr. Speaker, redemption is at hand in this honorable house. Mr. Speaker, I was appalled to hear the honorable member, Tabitha Hali, former Minister of the Public Service, standing here and saying that our public servants needs to be treated better. Mr. Speaker, this very former minister, after just barely 3 weeks of being appointed a minister, dismissed without giving any reason the personnel and the accounts staff. Mr. Speaker, how good they love our public servants. How they love the public servants. Mr. Speaker, and you know what the investigation unearthed? That the honorable member acted without due process, and it was it was an overuse of power. Mr. Speaker, our public servants have always been treated with respect and regard. Mr. Speaker, by the PPPC, since we came in 1992, we have never disrespected the public servants, neither have we dismissed anyone. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, many of our public servants cried bitter tears when they were dismissed without even saying why. They were just told. And I'm not sure, sir, I can't recall. Sir, can you please advise me if the word thugs are in that list that you would have placed there? Is it, sir? No, it's not.
I advise you not to use it.
Sir, I'm not referring to anyone in this honorable house as a thug. They were just dragged out of some of the ministries by the thugs that are associated or were associated with the administration, which was the APNU administration. Some of them couldn't even remove their properties.
Honorable Dr. Westford, we have the Honorable Annette Ferguson on her feet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand on Standing Order 40A. And 40A is saying here, by rising on a point of order, when the member speaking shall resume his or her seat, and the member interrupting shall simply direct attention to the point which
Honorable Dr. Westford, you may continue.
Mr. Speaker, I think that was meant as a little distraction. But I'm not being distracted. Mr. Speaker, I think it was very disrespectful, and the honorable member, Mr. Henry, had asked for the Minister of Amerindian Affairs to apologize to the Amerindian youths. I want to ask the honorable member who spoke before me to apologize to our public servants. How can the honorable members stand in this house and accuse our public servants of not being placed in positions and they're not qualified? It's disrespectful to our hard-working public servants, sir. And I think an apology should be made to those public servants. Or the minister must bring the proof to show who are those unqualified public servants that we have in positions. Mr. Speaker, you know, there's a saying that when you tell a lot of untruths, you yourself start believing that it's the truth. Because this attitude of placing persons, unqualified persons in positions, it's not a PPP trend, sir. It is not. Mr. Speaker, during the period 2015 to 2020, sir, it was appalling the amount of unqualified persons that were placed within the public service. And you know what happened? Do you know what they did? They placed those people on the pensionable establishment, knowing it was difficult to remove a pensionable worker. Sir, the evidence is there. We have the qualifications of those persons who, some of them today, it's difficult for us to get out of the public service. But what we have been doing, sir, we have given a lot of them the opportunity of upgrading themselves. And I must say, kudos to a lot of them. They have taken up the challenge and they have upgraded themselves or are currently upgrading themselves, thanks to the programs implemented on the goal by the PPPC. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member spoke about the public servants and their salaries and their allowances. I think the member needs to be updated a bit. Yes, there were salary increases on the APNU over the period 2015 to 2020. But there was nothing done for allowances, sir. Sir, on the 10th of December 2024, a landmark agreement was signed between the government and the Guyana Public Servants Union. And that agreement was spearheaded by none other than the Honorable Senior Minister of Finance and Public Service, Dr. 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄, sir. And sir, may I say at this forum that there was no Sir, I'm thinking because I don't want to say any words that you will stop me on. Mr. Speaker, there were no promises, as happened with the teachers' negotiation a few years before that, in 2019. There were no promises by the government to any of the public service unions' reps to come as to Parliament. There were no proposal otherwise to any of them from any member of the government. We negotiated in faith, in good faith, and that negotiation, sir, has yielded results that are beneficial to the public servants. Mr. Speaker, it's not only the salary increases that this agreement speaks to. There have been increases in traveling allowances, increases in housing allowances, increases in car allowances. Mr. Speaker, you weren't going to work. You had to go to work. You were skiving. You were malingering. That's the word. Mr. Speaker, risk allowances. Allowances that indeed our public servants have been clamoring for changes in. And Mr. Speaker, I dare say all of our public servants are not a category that are placed in a bunch and they do not benefit. They benefit from every other method that is mentioned in this budget. The public servants benefit like each and every one of us. They will also benefit, their children will benefit from the Because We Care grants. They will benefit from the cash grants. They will benefit from the free toll system. Mr. Speaker, they will benefit from the $10,000 that you will get for each child rebate. Mr. Speaker, they will benefit from the $100,000 when you get a child. All of that they stand to benefit from. And more so, today, our public service is probably one of the most qualified. So I can stand here and tell you today, we have persons who are clerks, who are studying for their master's degree as I speak, sir. And this is not randomly. When you're right at the parliament, sir, you know how many persons are studying there. All because the opportunities have been created by this PPPC government. We have created the opportunities, the level playing field that anyone, and how we do it, sir, if you want to get to a higher education, we will start you from the lowest level that you're capable of starting from. And we guide you and we bring you up to whatever level. The skies are the limit where we are concerned now. So when the honorable member stood there and spoke about education, we are educating our nation. And you know why? We want them to work with us. We don't want people who wouldn't understand when we are kerfuffling about a word that you have on your list, sir. I don't think so. We don't want people, when we kerfuffle them with those grassmatic figures that we heard from our very first speaker in this house. We want them to understand this and must know that we are trying to make them look stupid. And that is why we want an educated nation, sir. Sir, there is another issue. Health. The honorable member, Miss Tabitha Halley, Mrs. Sarabo Halley, went to the health sector. And I think she was just parroting a word I heard from higher up, from members who are supposed to be higher up in the 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄. Can't say the word cabal. Hierarchy. The word malnutrition, sir. Sir, first of all, Mr. Speaker, and the good thing is that on the opposite side, we have a colleague medical doctor of mine who is aptly qualified. She's a public health professional. And I think maybe she should give some lessons about malnutrition, the word malnutrition, what it means, But in our sense of the when a Guyanese, when you hear somebody here says malnutrition, they're speaking about those ravishing photographs that we see emanating from around the world with some children with 2 fine legs, a big stomach, 2 big eyes, and some of them can barely stand. That's what we think about. Extreme. Malnutrition denotes either undernutrition or overnutrition. Undernutrition or overnutrition, both are deemed malnutrition. Mr. Speaker, we have an issue. We have an issue of overnutrition in this country. It is actually becoming an epidemic in this country right now. We have an issue where we cannot get our parents and our guardians to stop overfeeding children. We have programs. Mr. Speaker, I am not going to deny that there may be sporadic here and there, because this is a large country, and there may be, within the health sector, you may find some child who is suffering with some other condition who would display malnourished. Just looking at figures, my dear, you need to interpret. Interpretation is an art, and it's not something. Education doesn't mean interpretation. It's very, very difficult for some people. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you, there are very few people in this room today who knows what malnutrition is and what it was in this country. Mr. Speaker, I have Dr. Frank Anthony here, Dr. Vishwa Mahadio. We have the Honorable Member 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄, and maybe there are some others here who might know. Mr. Speaker, oh, we have Dr. Berry Ramsaran, sorry. Yes. Mr. Speaker, I can stand here and speak about it. I worked in every single region of this country of ours. Every single region. Every single region. And we had those issues in every single region. But worst of all, it was so bad, sir. It was not under the PPPC. It's not under PPP either. Because we never had, Mr. Speaker, it was so bad in Georgetown, in Region 4. It was so bad that you had a special ward, a special children's ward for malnutrition. And Mr. Speaker, anybody with a conscience who weren't a medical practitioner and was accustomed to seeing those things would have cried and fallen down. Mr. Speaker, this lasted from the 1980s until that ward was abolished in the latter half of 1993.
Honorable Member, I can agree with you because I did CREX to deal with that. We will need to give you an extension to continue to complete.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask for the honourable member to be given another 5 minutes to conclude her presentation.
Honourable Member, you may continue.
Speaker, don't be afraid. Some of my other colleagues will continue where I will leave off. Mr. Speaker, I have to speak on this malnutrition thing. It is something that continues to rear its head every single budget. Every single budget. And no one is taking, I think they know exactly what they're saying, but they're just being facetious is a bad word, sir? No, it's not. You don't have that in your list. Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, it was very bad. We, the PPPC, we diminished the malnutrition levels to such a level that there was no need for that ward any longer. We had special nurses as malnutrition nurses, sir. But you know what? You know what, sir? I think the time has gone for we to see them white mouth picnic, but them accustomed to seeing. That was the terminology that used to be used. They were looked at as inhuman, not human. It was very bad. So, sir, I would ask my colleagues on the opposite side and their associates to stop trying to land and put it as if we created malnutrition. Mr. Speaker, we have such good programs now. We have our MCH programs, our vaccination program. Look at our figures. It's second to none in this region, sir. Second to none. We have programs, we have nutritional programs, not only for our babies. It starts from the mother. From the pregnant mother, we start our nutrition because we want to ensure that we have healthy persons, healthy people in this country, because we want a healthy nation. And all of our policies, sir, are geared towards a healthy, prosperous nation. Mr. Speaker, so when people stand here and speak about no education, no food, I heard the honorable member, Mr. Henry, spoke about people hungry and people walking. I don't know where he's living if people are hungry, but he doesn't seem to be hungry. So we have to be careful he's not eating all the food from the others. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this government, our policies are geared at ensuring that this country, that every single man, woman, child, that they have a prosperous, healthy life. And Mr. Speaker, no amount of misinformation as is being peddled by my friends on the opposite benches and their, no, I wouldn't say surrogates. I think that's in the list. And their associates, no amount of that will deter us from what our aims are, sir. We will continue this trend of development. We will continue moving forward, and this country will be a country, and as the Honorable Mia Motley said, we are going to be Little Dubai or Big Dubai one day. We are going to ensure that we love our people, they're our people, we are in the government, and we are going to be here to implement such policies and better policies for the next 2 decades, sir. So those who are dreaming about being here after this year, keep dreaming. Probably we'll give you some pillows and some blankets. Thank you.